Alex doing KSI Press. I'm here with Jared Gordon, who returns to action at UFC Vegas 53. Jared, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing, Alex?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be talking with you again, man. You're about 3 weeks out, less than 3 weeks. How you feeling?
I'm ready to go. I've been in camp for a while, and then I lost my opponent, but Dawson stepped in, so here we are. Uh, Everything's doing good. So all pistons are firing, all cylinders are lubed up, and ready to go.
Awesome. Before we talk about your fight, couple big things that happened in your life. You got last time I talked to you, you were almost about to get married, but you got married.
Yes.
How's it feel to be a married man?
It's good, man. It's been great. We just bought a house. We renovated it. Um, Not long after we got married. We moved in like 3-ish weeks ago, so it's been awesome. Blessed, and I feel like me and my wife are just getting closer. So um, I'm happy, really happy.
How was how was the honeymoon?
Oh, it was awesome. We went to St. Lucia. Super cool, beautiful place. It's only 3 hours from Miami, so we didn't have to we were thinking about going to Maldives or something like that, and I'm like, can't take coach there. You got to go like at least business class, and that's like 10,000 a ticket. It's like 30 hours away, and I was like, let's just go to like the St. Lucia. It's a 3-hour flight, and it's not as expensive. We still spent a pretty penny, but it was great. Yeah, I loved it.
Awesome. Wanted to give an update on recreate behavior health. How's that?
It's been great, man. Helping lots of people. I always go to the facilities, talk to the clients. People that need help, we try to get them in there. And those are my people, man. The owners are like my age, around my age, so they're doing great things. They just opened up a facility in Long Island. They have one in Jersey, and they have one down here. So it's been awesome, man. I'm super lucky to have them supporting me, and we're a team though, so it's been really great.
I mean, do you think it's like it's even more special that the clients in there see a professional athlete sober?
Yeah, I think I'm not that old. Also, there's some young people in there. But yeah, I think especially fighting, it's not like I was like some NFL player, and I was like, I'm like 55, and I'm like, hey kids, I think it's easy for them to relate to me, and you know, fighting is like what they're doing. They're fighting for their lives, so kind of like it's the same thing. I'm fighting. I fought for my life and still do every day. Stay sober. But I'm also fighting in a cage, so literally and figuratively, I think just goes hand in hand with what they're doing or trying to do.
Totally, 100%. So you posted this post on social media. I guess it was last week about you were going through your photo album and found this picture of when in 2015.
Yeah.
Tell me the story.
So I was fighting. I was 9-0. I was fighting for the CFSC title against Jeff Lentz. He was on the Ultimate Fighter show. Scrappy kid. I was winning the fight. I was up on all the judges' scorecards. And then in the second round, I got kneed. It broke my medial wall and orbital floor. It like fractured my nose too. It cut the bridge of my nose and over my eye. So it was pretty devastating knee. They let me go into the third round and fight. I won the third round too. And then between rounds, they stopped it because my face was just like out to here. So I went to the hospital. I was sober at the time. And, they I had to have I had to have surgery. They had to put a plate that sits in my face like this. Um, so I was there Saturday night. You know, they had to give me a shot of morphine. It was miserable. And then, you know, I had surgery Monday afternoon, and I was in the hospital till like Friday. So I was in the head trauma unit, and they were giving me, you know, IV Dilaudid and morphine like every 4 hours. So naturally, after 5 days of IV opiates, I came out of the hospital and I was like, well, there's only one thing left to do. I actually waited like 6, 7 weeks. I didn't get high like right away, but it did cause me a relapse, unfortunately. Yeah. That was my last run, my last hard run. I was like May. I think it was May or July. Forget, one of those months. And I went nuts for like 6 months, and then I got sober in December.
Crazy. I mean, it's crazy the amount of people that get loaded over painkillers. Like it's, you know, it's an epidemic, and I've seen a lot of people with clean time die or relapse because of painkillers. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah.
how, with you being sober now and clean, how hard is it? I mean, you know, the how hard is it after a fight? You know, if you go to the doctor, painful. What do you
Yeah.
do? What do you
I
do?
mean, I had 2 surgeries in the last 6 years during, you know, my sobriety. The first one was a nose surgery. You know, they gave me meds in hospital for, you know, during or before surgery as I was going in. And I tell them I'm a, you know, little carton addict, and you know, they'll write me a script for like 3 pills or something, just you know, just for the first day or so. And then I had surgery after the Oliveira fight. I had another plate put in my face under my other eye because I had bastard. And same thing. They gave me a script for like 4 pills. So you know, I came home, I took one to go to sleep, or I came home, I took one, then before I went to sleep, I took another one, and the same thing the next day. Just so, you know, I just had a plate put in my face. I was in a lot of pain, man. And that's it. Also, during my last one, you know, in 2015, I was abstinent. I wasn't sober. I wasn't working a program. I didn't have any sponsor. You know, I didn't go to meetings. You know, like, so as soon as the thought of using came into my head, I just went and used. There was no like barrier between me and the drug. Uh, this time, you know, everybody knows, you know, all my sober friends and sponsor, all right, Jared's having surgery. Fucking magnifying glass on them. But I don't have the desire anyways, you know, because I know where it'll put me, and it's the last thing I ever want to do again.
You know, there's been a few other fighters that are openly talk about their addiction, and now that they're clean, I guess how how happy are you that other fighters are talking about it?
It's cool, man. It's what we need. You know, obviously, I think all sports are, you know, an area where people probably, you know, they party and they like to have fun and painkillers. They're in pain. All sports, uh, you know, and then after fight, you know, you have a big fight or you have a big competition. Oh, let's drink, and you know, obviously people get carried away and they get addicted, and we've seen many athletes destroy their lives through drugs and alcohol. So, I think it's great and needs to be talked about more. And I think people are just, you know, not afraid, but they don't want to look weak and admit they have an addiction, or admit there are other problems that cause them to drink and drug. So, excuse me. The more we speak about it, the better, you know?
Um, last thing about last, I don't, this last thing we talk about this. John Jones is always been one of my favorite athletes, man, and his been crazy. And several years ago when he was forced to go to rehab, and then he went I guess like one weekend, said he's basically cured.
Yeah.
It's just, what are your thoughts on John Jones and his? Do you believe he's an addict?
I think he has substance abuse problems and alcoholism for sure. A lot of the times, how many times have we seen him get in trouble and alcohol or drugs were involved? So that means you have a problem with drugs and alcohol, right? Even if you drink once a year but every time you drink, you crash your car or beat someone up, you can't control your liquor, You have a problem with alcohol, no matter what, every single time you drink, something terrible happens. So just because you don't drink all day, every day, and you're not reliant on alcohol or drugs, doesn't mean you don't have a problem with it. So yeah, I think, someone like him though, I feel like he definitely has, he wants to do what he wants to do. And I don't see him being a guy yet that will like go to meetings, talk about his problems, and admit his faults and do an inventory every day, and do a forward step and shit like that. Like, I just don't see it right now, because if he did do that stuff, he wouldn't be getting in trouble. I think that I don't think he's got the right people around him either. I think he's got a lot of yes men around him. All right, John, go do what you gotta do. And I've had people reach out to me like saying that they were, prominent figures in the UFC, not fighters, but people that work there, like, hey, like I'm gonna try to pass your name along to him. All right, and nothing ever happened. But you know what, man? Like, I don't think John would listen to me either, unfortunately, at this point. Who the fuck is Jared Gordon? When people, put John down on the internet, so like one interaction like between Dan Hooker and John was like, oh, he was putting him down about drinking and hitting his girl or something like that, and John was like, every time that you like had a big opportunity, you fell flat on your face. So like you could just see right there, like John values things that no one gives a fuck about. Like, in all honesty, do you think I give a fuck that John Jones was a UFC champion? No, I do not. Do I care that fucking Tom Brady won 27 Super Bowls? No, I don't give a fuck about any of that. Yeah, it's cool, but I'll watch a fight, shut the TV off, and I'm not thinking about it anymore. Yeah, I might like think back to it, like, oh wow, that was cool. But like, it's not something in my life that's so like John holds things about like his way of valuing things, like they don't those things they don't give you lasting fulfillment. They don't have any spiritual or like real meaning behind them. Like, so you can just see where his head's at. When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah. Like Dan Hooker obviously doesn't care that he's lost fights. He has a family. He seems like he's obviously a good husband, a good father, and he goes out there and he fights his balls off. There's so many variables in this sport that will lead you from becoming a champion. So it's like, John was an anomaly when it comes to being an athlete. So, I think he sounds also very, he sounds immature. A lot of the things he says are just like, a lot of his tweets, I'm just like, the fuck is going through your fucking head? Like nimble-minded, I'm not saying that I know all, but like, I don't know, you get what I'm saying.
Number one thing of an addict is self-centered, right? I mean,
oh god,
come on.
so self-centered, dude. All that matters is John.
Yeah.
But hey, each their own.
Yeah. No. People, people are gonna watch this interview and be like, "What the fuck is a fourth step in an inventory?"
Yeah, inventory. What kind of products you guys got? I don't know.
Oh, all right. So cool. You were scheduled to fight Rafael Alves. That fight falls out. I think you said that you were waiting for a minute for someone to step in. Grant Dawson steps in. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent, and how do you like the matchup?
I like it. I think it's similar to my last matchup. I think Grant is more aggressive and has better takedowns. I don't think his jiu-jitsu is as like slick and as like methodical as Joe Selecki's, but I know he's got a really good ground game and he's good against the fence, takedowns, body locks. He's got a good double, single. But I think stylistically it matches up well with me. And I think that I'm going to create a lot of problems and expose holes, Don't get me wrong, really good fighter, 17-1, right? 17-1. He hasn't lost in UFC yet. He's coming off a draw against Rick Lenz, who's a tough guy also. Crafty veteran. But I think I just got to push the pace right away. Like, I can't have a slow start. I got to get in there and get busy and, show him that I'm controlling the pace here.
Well, I think you told JHK that you feel like it's going to come down to whoever wants it more. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a fight that, gets won in the transitions and in the exchanges, I think I'm a little better on the feet than him. Kind of explodes in, looks for the takedown and the body lock. But I think he's tough, man. He's 5-0-1 in the UFC, and he's got a bunch of other wins. So he's good. He's young. He's strong. He's big. But I love the fight, man. I'm super excited. I'm in great shape, so I'm ready to go.
You feel like it's kind of he's new to ATT. Do you feel like this is like a Sanford versus ATT fight?
Not really. I don't think that's really a thing anymore. Used to be, but it was Black Zillions then, anyways. So many guys like that have come in and gone that doesn't even matter anymore. And the coaches aren't like that at Sanford. I don't know, what they're necessarily like over there at ATT, but at Sanford, the guys are just like, Henry Hill doesn't give a fuck about anything. He's like, okay, brother, we'll go there, fight, and you win or you lose. It's not like, like he's not like dying like he doesn't make a big deal over anything. And that's how the other coaches are too. Obviously, we want to win and we all work hard and the coaches are there every day, multiple times a day, all the coaches. But, this is what we spoke about before. Like, fighting for me now is like, I love it and I'll put all my energy into it. I love martial arts and I'm competitive and I want to fucking win. I really, 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 really want to win and climb the ranks and get better and become the champion, just like everyone else does it. But I don't have to win. And that's the difference between me and a lot of guys, I think, is that, like, at this point in my career, I used to think I have to win. I put so much pressure on myself. Now I've realized, like, I don't gotta fucking do nothing if I don't want to do it. I get to fight and I want to win, and I'll do everything in my power to do so. And when I go in there, I fight. When I go in there thinking like that, I fight freely. There's no, if I lose, everyone's gonna think I suck. I'm gonna fuck about the MMA fans to a degree because their opinions fucking suck. I love the fans because we need them and they support us. But like, you lose one fight, all of a sudden you're fucking garbage. So I'm like, these fucking people. So for me, it's like the only thing I care about is my loved ones and my friends. I don't give a fuck about fighting. I don't give a fuck about nice things. I don't care about nothing but how I am spiritually and what my fighting is doing. The bottom line, and everyone knows, is that I fight to shed light and give back to other people and to have a platform to help others. Like, and that's why I fight. It's bigger than me. It's a really big reason. And it gives me a lot of motivation to go do what I want to do. Plus, I also really, really, really want to win. So I'm able to fight freely like this now. I had an issue after my first UFC loss. I like went into this, oh, I have to win. Everyone thinks I suck. It didn't work for me. And then I realized, like, I don't have to fucking do nothing. I don't have to. I just want to win. So that's where I'm at right now. And so I'm like, I feel like I'm free, bro. I'm ready to soar, you know?
Fascinating look, and thank you for that. Yeah. So speaking of fans, you're 2-0 at the Apex, 3-0 kind of without fans for the most part.
Yeah.
Is your next fight? Do you want your next fight to be in front
Yeah,
of?
man. I'm dying to get back in front of the fans, in front of a big crowd in a while. But I don't really care, man, right now. I'm not really looking past Grant, so see what happens after I beat him.
And you think a win over Grant Dawson gets you into those rankings?
I think it gets me the top 15. I don't know if I'll be placed. If I beat him, will I go to top? Will I be at number 15? I doubt it. Right. So that'd be pretty fucking cool. But I have a feeling, my road doesn't go that way. It's never like, oh, you won 3. We're gonna let you fight like 4 weekends in a row and against cans, and you'll win them all, and and then you'll fight fucking Gilbert Burns for number 2 spot, and that's just not how it is for me. I got to go through the mud, and the way is through for me. I got to go through to get to where I'm going, and that's fine. It's my journey. Do I get envious and look at other people and think, oh fuck, like, why isn't my life like that? Yeah, I do, but then again, I can't change it, so it doesn't fucking matter.
100%, 100%. 2 final things for you, man. He's talked about Gilbert Burns. How proud were you with him with that performance? And it was just fucking plain disrespectful, the odds, and how everybody was like, dude.
All the fights that night, besides Korean Zombie and Volkanovski.
Dude, it's like,
how did they? That's what I said. I said, look how close both these fights were between Aljamain and Jan and Gilbert, and they had them. You know why? Because there's a bunch of morons out there betting the other way, swaying the odds. I know they came out heavy though to start, but you figure people would be betting on Gilbert and sway the odds in his direction. But and I guess most of them are right. But it was. If they said Gilbert won, I would say, all right, he won. It wasn't a robbery. Like, I thought he did win. Maybe I was being biased, but in that 4th round, he landed bigger. That 3rd round, he landed bigger shots. So I was like, he clearly won the 2nd, lost the 1st, obviously. The 3rd one was a fucking toss-up. They were in Brazil. I'd give it to Gilbert.
Absolutely.
You watch certain fights, like when I watched Felder versus Dan Hooker, like, I thought fucking Paul won that shit. They gave it to Hooker. And then he fought Edson Barboza in Abu Dhabi. And I was like, I don't know if he won, Paul. They gave it to him. So it's like, you never know with these people. But then the Jan and Aljamain fight, I thought Aljamain won. I haven't watched the fight again. When I watched the 1st round, I said, all right, I think he won that 1st round. And then he clearly won the next 2 and might have been a 10-8 in both of them. So, just because he lost the last 2, what? That's what everybody remembers. People, but the odds makers suck, dude. They don't know shit.
Yeah, it was disrespectful, you know, like I feel like these fucking odds makers literally had like never watched a fight between Gilbert Burns. Like how are
I
you,
know.
you know, it's like, dude, what?
Do you know Gilbert? Just
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I mean, they probably thought Gilbert Burns was Gilbert Godfrey or some shit, you know, like
yeah, about to die, that guy. He died on Monday or some shit, right? Or Tuesday.
and then finally, Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje at UFC 274. Who do you think wins that fight?
I think it's like a toss up, but I gotta go Charles because he beat me. So yeah, I can't. I don't want to make myself look bad and say, "Oh, Justin beat him," but I couldn't. You know. But hey, man, that fucking kid's on a man. I remember when I lost him, I was like, motherfucker. And then he started rattling off these wins over huge names, and I was like, guess I don't suck that bad after all. You know, and then he became champion. I was like, this fucking all right. Even though I got crushed by him, like that loss aged well for me. Like, all right, he lost. His last loss to Charles Oliveira. It's pretty fucking good.
Right. No, I mean, 100%. I mean,
He's on a win streak. His last loss is the champion. That sounds pretty. That actually like sounds good. You know. Then you go watch the fight. You're like, yeah, that was a really bad loss. But you know, it just wasn't my time either. I feel like it was his time, and that's it.
yeah, I mean, does that loss hurt a little bit less just because Charles Oliveira is
Yeah, of course.
running through these people?
How many times have we seen Charles? Granted, he was a lot younger, lose or quit or get knocked out or some shit like that. Right. We all level up. I think he's a great guy.
I guess the same thing. Seeing yourself get knocked out, you know, it's gonna be on loop for this next month and a half.
Fuck.
Does that annoy you, or is it like who gives a shit?
I don't give a fuck, dude. Because yeah, how many people are fucking on that fucking highlight reel? Not only that, but like every time I watch the lead up to a fight and they're showing the guys highlight reels, like how many champions, how many of the best guys are on those highlight reels? So what is the difference? Like the best guys in the world have been knocked out. Matt Serra knocked George St. Pierre out. Bad. You know?
Right. No, 100%.
How the fuck? Like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck everyone.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jared, thank you so much for your time, man. I have to say you have a fantastic beard right now.
It's nice, and people are like, man, I wish I had your beard. I'm like, shut up.
I mean, it is fantastic. I mean, I kind of wish we could switch beards right now.
It is glorious.
It is. It's probably gonna lead you to victory. Man, thank you again for your time, man. If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors, you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
No, not really. Fuck everyone. Live Pure is one of my sponsors. Great supplement company, Live Pure. Recreate Behavioral Health Network, obviously, my people. If anyone needs help, hit me up, get you some help, addiction-wise. And what's my Twitter? Jay Flash Gordon MMA, Twitter, and Jared Flash Gordon on Instagram. And that's it, man. That's all I got.